Okay, hello YouTube. This is my first attempt ever at trying to film a sketchbook tour, so feel free to come in and critique or, you know, whatever it is. So, a little bit about this sketchbook. I always use these Canson mixed media because I don't know. I feel like I like the paper to be the same and I like to experiment with my materials. And this hasn't really failed me so far. You know, my thought was I'm really bad at keeping up sketchbooks. I'm more of a painter. What happened was that I burnt out. I was more of a sketchbook artist and then I burnt out. And I feel like every time you burn out, you kind of come back. You have to like change your approach a little bit. So I've been painting. I fell in love with painting a while ago, and it's really difficult for me to have the patience to sort of sit down and sketch. I'm a very impatient artist and a very impatient person. I just wasn't having fun with them anymore. I also like to use pen straight. One reason I'm impatient, it carries through to more than art because I used to write all of my essays in pen too. The thought process is it goes faster because you can't erase, so you can't really dwell on any mistakes you make. You just have to like keep going. Uh, yeah, so I was like really just forcing myself to sketch. I just really thought that I should have a sketchbook before art school, and that's the thing that you do, right? But it's funny, after I dropped out, I kind of fell in love with it again, which is kind of surprising to me because I've been very busy, but I'll show you as we go along. Some of these sketches are much older, and some of them are newer. Like for instance, these little thumbnails actually happened before I went off. And then I kept changing it because, you know, it's the first page. I think what happened was that I drew this pigeon, and I drew that just to fill space, and then there was more space to fill. And for some reason I thought about the quote, "Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds." Because I am become death is like a clarity, I don't know, what is it called, like a tagline. And I never looked up the origin of the quote, and I did, and it's about bombs, and it's like a misquote of a Hindu thing, very strange. This red thing was supposed to be a shadow, but I wasn't really paying attention when I was drawing it, so it's not really working. And then here's a little like weird atom looking thing, which I kind of like. That make a fun painting. The other problem with not sketching and just painting is that you take all your bad ideas to the canvas. And now that I have been keeping up with it more, I definitely have been noticing myself doing that less. So what I have here, and there's a lot of this in this sketchbook, is Brigman anatomy. His stuff is very shapy. These are all direct copies, so I won't dwell on them too long. I did them straight in pen. I like to get through my books really fast, or else I kind of forget that I'm working on them. So more Brigman stuff. These are also really early in this sketchbook. I think like the second drawings I drew, I used to have this really cartoony style that I used a lot. I used to focus more on like stylization and clothing, and yeah, I don't know. It's just not really my thing anymore. More Brigman, still copies. Parrot, which is cool. Love a good parrot. Oh, and these red blobs were when I was mixing quinacridone, magenta, and cadmium lemon to make a more neutral looking red. More direct copies, slightly indecipherable. When I moved to Wisconsin, one of the first things that I figured out about Wisconsin is that there are weird centipedes here. And this guy is called the house centipede. and I drew him because I saw him, and I took a picture, and I drew that picture. I like bugs, especially centipedes. Centipedes are cool. And I said, thank you, weird guy, because they like to eat little tiny spiders, and I love that. And then these were thumbnails. I thought this was a really good idea, but like, yeah, I mean, I might still do it. It's like people licking their phones. Kind of gross. Might still do it. It's kind of a bad idea though. More anatomy. All Brigman. Credit to Brigman. Practicing what I'm gonna put on the back of one of my paintings. This sketch is cute, but I kind of messed up the top of the head, which is why the tape is there. It's cute. I don't mind it. Brigman. Cute little flowers. Love that. So these hands were really fun because all the ones in pencil here. I guess I drew this at the same time because it's in pencil. I definitely didn't draw any of the Brigman in pencil. I don't do that. But what's interesting about these hands is that I wanted to see how drawing them in the dark, where I could like barely see anything, how that would affect my values and my mark making. And I think it was a really, really successful experiment. I just love these hands. Like, it's hard to put a finger on like exactly why, but they just have like a very, I don't know, I guess the marks are so loose, but the tone, the value, the form, it's still intact, which I find very interesting, and I'd love to continue that experiment on to a little painting and see what colors would work best with that sort of style. Another thumbnail. I don't know what my train of thought there was. More Brigman. Little biceps. I really just hate these sketches so much, and I don't even want to show you, but maybe I will, I guess. There's this dude. Yeah, I was kind of noticing that I have issues with the top of the head, especially like when drawing hair and stuff, which is kind of why later on, a few months on, I'm kind of like, I'm going more into anatomy drawings, although I need to focus on the head more. But my plan for the head is I'm actually gonna do the 100 heads challenge. It'll be take 2 on that one. And then, you know, I'm the type of person to like write a bunch of lists in my sketchbook, which is part of the reason I have so much like tape and post-it notes covering everything, because like there's a lot of personal information. Now that I've decided I want to make videos out of this, maybe I should do like a separate one. So these are interesting. These are all taking the lessons that I learned from Brigman, and then I'm applying it to some figure drawing from lineofaction.com. And these, I kind of don't like these. They're very stiff. This is more direct copies from Brigman. I love the shape of that shoulder there. Like getting in those back muscles, very satisfying. I'm one of those people that just like likes learning anatomy most of the time. This sketch is also interesting. I don't love it. It's like loosely based off me, but I changed a lot of stuff. I don't know. I feel like I kind of look like Steve Buscemi, which isn't like a bad thing. Yeah, it doesn't speak to me. This is a Kieran Culkin portrait, which, you know, I don't really have any complaints about, except for I kind of wish I drew it bigger because I was having some trouble there with the size. More notes on what I want to do with commissions. Yeah, don't hold me to it, because clearly I haven't even started with that yet. More Brigman copies. This is a little colored pencil person from my imagination. There's a hair in there, sorry guys. And what to say about it? I really like my colored pencil people. I think I can sometimes get in some really interesting colors in there. This was before I was learning facial anatomy, but I did a pretty good job. Well, I mean, of course I've learned facial anatomy before. I've revisited it like, I don't know, like 7 times. More lists. This whole sketch was really recent. I saw a really cute scene of some birds that felt like very gestural. It was like a little bird and was holding like sprigs for a nest, and they were like almost as big as it was. And then this really cute, like its partner or something was like licking up, all gestural and flowy like, and she was at the, or he, I don't know, was at the bottom of the gate, and then was like looking up with this nice curved line in its back to the bird with all those twigs. So I thought that was super cute, and I kind of rushed home to draw it because I didn't get a pic. This is all Bregman copies. None of this is me. I hate this sketch so much. There's just so many problems with it. I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know totally why I felt the need to kind of like jump in with the Bregman on every page after I'd already like drawn stuff. I feel like that's super unnecessary, and I just wanted to like look like I filled up a bunch of the pages. Probably wouldn't do that again in my next sketchbook, but here I drew some hands, was what happened initially, and then I kind of used it as my little gilding test page, and I bought a bunch of glues earlier in the year, and I was kind of testing how they looked with the gold. And also, you know, I can go back and scratch and all that stuff and test how well it's lasting. This is a little silver leaf, that's real silver, but the gold is composition gold leaf, which, fun fact, is thicker, easier to use, ages better in paintings. I don't think there's a reason to use real gold, unless you're trying to sell it for a lot or something. I drew a goat because that's I did that in a lot of older sketchbooks, is I drew a lot of goats. I'm trying to get back into that. That's the only goat in this sketchbook, I think, though. More color pencil portraits. I love this one. Love it. It just has a really cool, intense look, and it's colorful, but I like stuff that's colorful, but it doesn't feel like you just threw in any color, you know? This one, I kind of didn't like at first, but it's grown on me. It's kind of cute. It's kind of cute. More Bregman copies. Bunch of sketches in here I didn't like. Top of the head issue comes in again, but I was trying to focus more on the sketch, give it some more time. These eyeballs could use a little bit more form and depth too, but I was just kind of done with it. I wasn't feeling it. Bregman copies, some earlier sketches. I feel like you can really tell I wasn't studying anatomy or hadn't recently studied anatomy. I kind of strayed away from the fundamentals for a while because I was just burning out so much in high school. Early high school, I was like really going ham with the fundamentals, but I had to take a really long break. And then I like these. They kind of flopped on Instagram, but you know, what's new? But they're just some black paper that I did some really quick like tonal sketches on, and this one is a face, and this one is my hand, and they just have a really, really nice look to them. So I want to revisit that tonal look and that tonal focus. See, look at the little window in the back. I love that. And then this I put in, it's just a little Eeyore drawing. These are like partly traced, and I just changed the colors. They were for my friend. But you know, I made them, so I put them in the sketchbook. Brigman. I love this sketch so much, but it really went downhill with the hands. This was also before all the anatomy studies. This like sloped look here doesn't work. It needs to be more like a kind of like a diamond shape, I guess. But that's not the only issue. Part of the problem that I have with anatomy, and the Brigman didn't really help, but Bern Hogarth's whatever it's called, dynamic figure drawing or whatever, has solutions to like when you can't decide what you even want with anatomy. Like a lot of the problem that I have is that I can't decide what pose I want before I draw it ever. So sometimes the stuff that I draw just doesn't really make sense, and it's not because I don't know how it looks like, it's just that I keep changing my mind in the middle of drawing it, which doesn't totally go super well with pen drawings, but you know, I'm full of contradictions. These were some early holographic stickers, and I like how holographic they are, but I'm having some issues with the adhesive. My friend put them on her water bottle and they started peeling off, and I was like, I don't know if I want to sell that. But yeah, just testing out my stickers. They printed a little dark here, but it's crazy how well some of the printing quality turned out on some of this holographic paper. The cuts off too, that was, trust me, I fixed that. I wouldn't be selling stickers like that. I had some sketches on here initially. I did some pen over them because I just, once again, wasn't feeling it. I actually really like what I did with her. Like, I really like that. More Brigman. Sorry guys, promise the Brigman's done soon. Brigman. Yeah, don't pay attention to that. It's just a dumb idea I had. This was like a self-portrait, but I couldn't decide what like proportions I wanted it in, so we started with the ear, and then I got progressively smaller as I kept drawing, so I said fug, bad proportions. Really astute observation there, but I honestly like how it looked. More drawing my ear. This is when my helix was still healing, so you can see that bump where the helix is. They also pierced me with a butterfly. I mean, it was like, I don't know, $40 to get my helixes done, which is, if you have the option to get your helixes done for $40 at a tattoo shop on their discount day, I would not recommend it. Just go to an APP certified place with a reputable piercer. I recommend that. More Brigman copies. Brigman. There was just a thumbnail there, nothing too interesting. I had some writing here, but it felt like kind of personal. But I think these little hand sketches are cute, just little quick things. Brigman on this page. These are all thumbnails for my, I have these dreams about a secret garden show. I won't go too in-depth about it because I do kind of want to keep it, a lot of the details to myself, so I can have this like big reveal. But I will share a little bit about it. I'm incorporating a lot of these spring colors in, which I'm really loving. I'm going in a different direction with colors than I kind of thought I would, which I always think could be really interesting. And what I've also noticed is that finally I'm sort of in tune with broader trends, because I have noticed people liking, instead of pastels, it's more like spring colors, you know? Like deep purple is okay, deep blue is okay, but it's mostly these kind of pastels, but there's also like hot pinks and you know, just whatever color you would make a peep, I guess, plus some royal colors. Some Brigman toes. Posca sketching. I love how this turned out. And then I put I put a little moth here. And I thought it would take away from it, but I kind of like it. This was just a little drawing. I was thinking about painting this, but I don't know if I want to. I really like what I did with the clouds here. Yeah, don't have much to say about that, but this is Posca, if you're wondering. What do I have to say about this page? Not much. This is Posca, though. Kind of deciding, working on some character stuff. I haven't done character stuff in a while, but I've been messing around with it very, just a little bit. Yeah, don't have much to say about that either. These are not Brigman, these are me. This is figure drawing stuff. More figure drawing stuff. They're pretty quick. Probably a better way I could do quick ones, but I guess I don't mind them. These, man, they're leaning to one side, they're stiff. I tried to draw a kid and it was horrifying. I almost put a sticky over that. I was like, you know what? Let them see it. This is more thumbnails that I don't totally want to show. How much of this was me? I drew this one and that one. These are Brigman. I don't know. I'm the kind of person, by the way. I'm not like a pretty sketchbook person. I like to work on a lot of my peripheral skills. I like to work on fonts. I like to work on abstract, flowy, messy stuff. I like to fail. I like to rip pages out. I like to paint over pages. I'm not really a pretty sketchbook person. More Brigman here and a figure drawing that wasn't that great. This painting I painted over like 3 times. And what kept happening was that I got it to a point where I liked. And then I'd take it just a little bit further because I felt like it needed something more. And I'd ruin the whole thing. And that happened a couple of times. And I got so fed up, I ended up just like drawing over it with a white pen. But then I was like, ooh. It took me a while. I had to put it away for a while before I could even look at it because I was like, this is horrible. But now that I'm looking back at it, I think she's cute. It's one of my favorite things in the sketchbook. More figure drawings here, and here and here. But at this point, I feel like I'm starting to get it. Like, the figures feel good, they feel grounded, they feel a little bit flowy. This is my favorite one. And then these two I drew in the airport. I drew my foot while looking at it in the airport. I remember this was really fun because a little girl came up, but I guess they were like, because she wanted to see me drawing, but I guess they like were late for their flight, so her mom just like dragged her away. I thought it was really funny. And then this one, this was kind of fun because I actually went hiking with my dad, and I've been kind of teaching him some stuff about drawing because, you know, it can be a cool hobby, fun hobby. Whew, I just thought I wasn't recording, Jesus. Scared me. And we just picked up random sprigs once we got to a stopping point and drew that. I was really drawn to the shape and the leaves here on this, and then I painted it in my little cool little abstract-y style, which I love this. I feel like I could do something more, maybe some like lighter highlights, outlining stuff, but I like when you draw things and you kind of can't tell that they're things, and I like that kind of thing. And then I was like, okay, we're gonna do a little page full of paintings. These, I kind of liked how they looked. I didn't want to take them any further. And then this one is cute. It's a little square imaginary portrait kind of thing. I like the idea of drawing like the side of someone's head instead of drawing them straight on. More like indirect portraiture is an interesting idea. And then pink and red. I mean, what can I say? Gotta love pink and red. I've also been not doing as many interiors as I thought I would. So that's also why I have that. These are just some like crappy little, I guess they look good all together, but like individually they're kind of crappy drawings of pen caps. I did this on the plane. I did these two on the plane here. See, it says forgot how to draw Carnotaurus. I'm on a plane. So basically you can't blame me if they're like weird, because I couldn't look anything up. And then I said lizard lips here, but it kind of looks like lizard UPS. I guess my thought here is that maybe I would do a Carnotaurus sticker page, sticker sheet. I think that would be cute. These I all did on an airplane. I drew the seat in front of me, I drew my phone, but I drew the aspect all off. And this was my backpack. And this was clouds when I was trying to draw them as they were like going by. This is a little bushel of plant matter from imagination, and this was my hand. I'm sure, well, never mind what I was about to say. These I also drew on a plane. I wanted to do like something structural on this page, so bedside table on perspective, imaginary exterior. It's not great. I used to do a lot of those. I definitely want to do more in the next sketchbook because I feel like I'm just not like warmed up with them, I guess. I wanted to do a page of portraits here because I like I was saying, I really liked my colored pencil one, but I just don't think it was meant to be. I feel like maybe after the 100 heads, I'll have a little bit more inspiration. It's not like I have like same face. It's just like, I don't know. I took a lot of time off from portraiture. I feel like I have to do that sometimes. I don't want to be a solely portrait artist. That's not me. More thumbnails. I don't feel like these are that interesting. Cow from a photo I took. And this was a photo I took of a bird. And then I do this a lot, but I was drawing a painting that my friend made for me. Eeyore stickers, more Eeyore stickers. And then this drawing, which was kind of cute, but I just like couldn't totally find the motivation to totally finish and clean it up. I was almost there, and then I just like did that, and I was like, am I gonna fix it? And then I was like, no, I like it. I like it. These are from Imagination. I hate this flower so much. That's also from Imagination. And then a lot of these, this is also really early in the sketchbook. I don't know why, I just turned to like a random page, but I was kind of just, next time I would put the @ next to it because I feel like it's kind of rude that I didn't, but I was kind of just scrolling through TikTok and drawing random people's features, which was really fun to do. I don't have anything to say about this page. I don't even know where to start. pen drawings from just looking at things. Pretty self-explanatory. This is my sewing machine, and this little thing here is actually what I'm filming this video on right now. And a chair that I've since painted and looks a little different. And some stuff from my bedroom. That's always nice. I was like, I'm gonna be Kim Jong-gi and just draw things in perspective that I see all the time. And I will be Kim Jong-gi. More character development. I like this guy. He's like a ratty dude with a ratty little mustache and a shitty haircut. Mao. It's a cat. I don't usually draw cats, so you're welcome. There's like a little baby cat. I thought it'd be fun to draw in my camera roll. Here, I mean, those scratches are me testing the stickers. For the record, my new sticker paper does not scratch like that, so there you have it. And then just drawing from observation. Drew my little shelf here and my keys. I'm trying to do less chicken scratch and like redrawing the line. I noticed that I did that, and it's kind of upsetting that I do that because I kicked that habit for a while. And then it came back with a vengeance. Figure, these are like 30-second figures, so they're not that great. More figure. Like I said, I've loosened up by the end of these figure drawings. I was doing a lot of figure drawings. I'm trying to like keep up my art education even though I'm out, and honestly, like what I kind of learned is that if you know what you want to do, you can teach yourself better and faster than art school, because I don't know, man, with art school you end up kind of wasting a lot of time. It's good for like getting into galleries and stuff, but especially for a painter, I think it's different with like graphic design and illustration, but for a painter it's kind of a toss-up whether or not it's worth it. So if you're a young painter who's wondering, maybe I'll make a video about that. Sketch that I covered up with some Posca and some word art because I like doing that. More figure drawings. Meh. I do wish I had worked in these shadows with, like I was doing earlier with my gray highlighter instead. I really wish that was what I had done. This is an interesting page. I drew this pretty early on. It's supposed to be me, kind of, but then I went over it with some Posca. I was pretty lazy with it. Like, I know this isn't like totally correct, but I just didn't super care. And then these two, yeah, you can see me writing blind contour rules. Blind contour rules. I should do a lot more. And then, yeah, I was just messing around with it's not blind contour. This is sighted contour. But I think it looks great, and I want to do a lot more. And then these were me using like the Brigman techniques, but I was drawing hands. Line of Action has like a figure drawing section that's just hands, and that's awesome. And then this was a little design I did for my dad. More contour-y drawing thing. Well, at least her face, I really like how that turned out. The rest of it, I don't know. Just some faces. These are partially referenced, which is why I feel like they look so good, but they definitely do look good. Cool lady with sunglasses. It was originally a pen sketch, and I did over with Posca. I think that's a good look for me, and a good look for my sketchbooks. Another drawing that I kind of covered up with some other stuff, but this is like the sticker outline. If you ever get a sticker sheet, do this with the outline, because like, I don't know, what else are you gonna do with it? Throw it away? It's good to put in your sketchbook. Why not? Why not? And I wanted to have some like nicer, more attention paid to them pencil sketches here, so that's what I have. I like that I've been messing more with perspective, tightening down on that. And then this one, obviously, I kind of redid it, but I was having some trouble getting her hair to look the way that I wanted, which is also something that I'm addressing with the 100 Heads challenge. I put some people with locks in so I can really tighten down on that skill. This I was down somewhere and I just drew what I saw as quickly as I could. I think it's pretty. I don't know if you can kind of tell what it is if you've never been there, but I like it. This was just another attempt that didn't make it very far. Barely decipherable figure drawings. I think I was drawing them over each other. I know this was a figure drawing that I paused it over. It went a little Starry Night at the end there. It's kind of, I don't know, kind of tacky or something. This was from my bedroom back home. I don't have the teddy bear here, but I also really like this Posca sketch. It'd be great if I had a thinner, like, white thing here, but I like the colors. I got a skin tone set finally, and that dark brown is really good for skin tones. Was really missing that earlier. More drawing from life. These are my hands and my feet, so foot reveal, I guess. This is on me on my Kim Jung-gi grind set. Yeah, that's almost insulting to say for the quality of this sketch, but that's the thought process. Cars. There's gonna be more cars in the new sketchbook because I just feel like it's a flex to be good at drawing cars. And that's me, man. I like being able to draw everything. Here, these two pages stuck together because I used a crap ton of puffy paint. And just for some reason, thought they wouldn't stick together if they were dry. No, they totally did. See all these rips? Yeah, that was me opening them once. Should I try again? I don't know, maybe. Oh boy. Let's do it. There we go. You can kind of see it. Nothing that interesting. This page is mostly covered anyway, so I won't really. This is a self-portrait, but I had a lot of forehead space to work with afterwards. So I was like, oh, like why don't I give myself the tattoo that the dude in Suicide Squad had? And yeah, it's perfect. I have nothing else to say about it. This was a really cool gouache painting that I did. Also back home, I didn't have any white gouache. So that was a really interesting challenge of like, I couldn't make things too dark because I couldn't really lift them up again unless it was with yellow. This was like a TikTok video that I made and then deleted because, I don't know. I guess I don't really want to be a color theory person. Maybe one day. More figure drawings. Drew my fan from life. And then this is older than my sketchbook by quite a bit, but I was working on this pattern with some frogs and some like vintage inspired flowers. I don't know if I'll ever finish it, but that was definitely the intent. So, and then here, I'm just testing out my Poscas. I like how these little flowers look. I like the colors that shows on this page. And then I said here, did using out-of-box pencils and markers growing up influence my color choices now? Which is an interesting question because I've always been described as like I have very saturated high chroma work. that some people may classify as garish, and I'm often told to like sort of tone it down a little bit. So I was sort of wondering if the box set of colors sort of influences the way you see color later, because it appeared in all of your early works, and I wonder if I had been like given like a watercolor set, which I hadn't done much as a kid, or acrylics or something, if my work would be different now. Lots of very interesting questions. Okay, but yeah, like the cover says, we're done. Adios.